Hi, I'm Don. Today we have an unboxing video of the Judgement Eternal Champions tabletop game by Creaturecaster. Creaturecaster is well known for their very detailed resin miniatures. Also, they have been providing very nice STLs for their subscribers for a few months now. This video is about Creaturecaster's new tabletop game. We love tabletop games. I think it's the second best way to get into miniature painting. So today, I'll share with you Judgement Eternal Champions, the tabletop game. This Judgement game was up at Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and I think all of the backers have their copies of this game already. I played a couple of games with my son already, and it was awesome. But first off, a ton of thanks to Creaturecaster and Cephalopod Studios for this box of my Full Monty. Full Monty is the full set of Cuttlefish colors, and finally I have like the newer bottles with the sketch and glaze labels. I was sent like I think November last year the original bottles, which are smaller as you can see, and the smaller bottles doesn't have the label if it's sketch or glaze. All these paints are pre-glaze paints, but the sketch paints are a little bit more opaque than the glaze paints. They also sent me a small bottle of medium, although they sent me a huge liter of medium last year. These Cuttlefish colors paints are pre-glaze paints, and they match how I like to paint perfectly. Now back to Creaturecaster's Judgement Eternal Champions game. Me and my two daughters and my son enjoy tabletop gaming so much, and we kinda enjoyed it a bit more during, or not really during, but after the pandemic. The box of this game is a bit huge. It's thicker than most boxes, maybe because they have to fit this playmat. Because this playmat is usually sold separately if you buy a tabletop game, and you have to buy the playmat separately. This one is included in the core box, I think, and the edges of the playmat is stitched. The reverse side is like digital art of some of the characters, and the front side is the hexagonal, well, basically the map with the hexes, and you play on top of this dark themed playmat. And of course, you get a couple of rule books, a quick start rule book, and it has a sample of how to start the game. But of course, as usual, you get the thicker rule book, which is this one, and my son is always assigned to read this thick rule book because he's really good at memorizing like the rules of the game regardless of what game it is. So I always give this to my son while I'm unboxing, or while I'm preparing like the game, or even while priming the miniatures. He's reading the rule book. So you also get like a ton of tokens, like the carton tokens, which is pretty standard in tabletop games these days, and maybe even the old days. Like you have 4 sheets of these tokens. There's a lot. These are like status tokens, or like basically details of the game that would like remind you that that character is knocked down, or he has acquired a certain ability, so you use those tokens during the game. I think the game is MOBA style. I'm not familiar with that. I'm not really a gamer. But for me, the main feature of this game are the awesome miniatures. I have all the resin counterpart of these PVC miniatures except these big effigies. Well, basically, you have to kill these effigies in the game, and they're awesome. I'll be painting them really soon, even though they're not part of my schedule. Now, you also get cards for the effigies, but you only get 2 effigies for the core box. But there are, I think, 5 gods, yeah, like young gods. So you get 5 cards for those gods. And you also get a couple of sets of dices, which is really cool because usually you just get one and you share it with other players. And then you have like the cards of the characters of the core box. But I just downloaded an app which has all of the characters of this game, which is super awesome because I get to play the other resin miniatures that I got from Creature Caster last year. So in terms of the quality of this PVC-ish plastic miniatures, it's actually it's super detailed in comparison to other PVC tabletop games. But of course, it has less details, or like I can't explain it, but the quality of the details is a bit less, of course, than the actual resin counterpart. You can't really beat resin, but here you could see like at the left side it's PVC and the prime gray model is resin. It's not really far from the quality of the resin because it's the same master, but the details are a bit softer, but that is to be expected of PVC models. But in terms of comparing these PVC plastic models with other tabletop games, this is like twice the details and quality of the usual PVC models you get from other games. I noticed though that these PVC plastic miniatures are a tad heavier than the resin miniatures. But these effigies are totally awesome. Seriously, I'm really painting this even though they're not in my schedule of painting miniatures. You also get like this really nice 3D tokens, which are super cute and should be fun to paint, but I don't have like the time to paint those. You also have these clips wherein you monitor the life of your characters and such. You slide it along the card and it's super cool. Now, I cannot help not to prime, or at least like do a black prime and then zenithal prime. This one, I quickly primed it with spray can. I kinda use spray cans these days because it's really convenient and fast, and we have a supplier that sells it kinda cheap. So now we do a bit of zenithal. We start with a dark gray color. This is ethereal gray. So it's a dark gray warm color. Cuttlefish, you thin it around 2 to 3 parts paint and 1 part medium, and I kind of blast it with 30 psi and use my Kolani airbrush to like just blow the paint towards the model. I'm not being cute here, I'm just doing a quick zenithal prime. Sometimes I stop with this dark gray prime and then just paint on top of this, but I decided to move on to paint a lighter gray color, which is the mountain. This is neutral gray, and again you thin it around 2 parts paint and 1 part medium and paint it roughly mostly on top of the models to have a nice zenithal look. So this is way better than just painting the bare plastic, because with this one at least I see a bit of the details. Again, the models are super nice and detailed, more detailed than the usual PVC miniatures you get from other tabletop games. But of course, don't compare it with Creature Caster's resin miniatures because those are insanely very sharp, crisp, and very detailed. So there, I think I'll be painting one of the effigies. I'm looking forward to painting, not this one. This one is the good guy, Istar or something. I'm painting Krognar. I'm really bad with names. But this one who looks a bit like Hastur or a ring wraith. And I'm painting this guy first, maybe tonight until I drop to sleep, and it should be super fun to paint. It's highly detailed. You even have books at the back, and this will be really fun to do a quick paint. So now we play. I played with this game a couple of times with my son and we had a blast, but I really need to learn the nuances of the game. That's it, Pansit.